All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another market breakdown. So let's get right into it. It's been a while since we last made a video. I don't really have time to hop on a Zoom call, so I decided to just record one instead. So let's start from the top. First of all, Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been bleeding. Weekly time frame is bearish. Daily time frame is currently bearish, and 4-hour time frame is also currently bearish. So we have 3 time frames that are bearish, broke under this low, breaking underneath underneath the EMAs. Weekly time frame rejected the 9 EMA. Daily time frame rejected the 50 EMA. We broke underneath the 9 EMA. So in my opinion, we should continue selling. Now what we might see is something along these lines where we have pushed up, broke down, only to then slow down, push up higher, sweep this high, sweep these highs, and then continue to sell. So what I would look for is a pullback into one of these EMAs, maybe into the top of this area of interest, and then a continuation to the downside. What you could look for is a few bullish candles and then a bearish engulfing candle. As you can see, after that bearish engulfing candle on the daily time frame, price usually does continue to the downside. So that's what I have to say about Bitcoin. SPX, S&P 500, is also selling very, very hard. Last week we had a very, very strong sell underneath the 9 EMA. Daily time frame is currently bearish from here down to here. We broke these lows. We swept these lows with this candle right here, pulled back into the EMA, and then sold again. At this point, we're just continuing to sell. I mean, realistically, we're kind of in this situation right here. We might get a pullback into this area of interest before continuing to sell. If not, then we might just break back above these EMAs. As you can see here, we broke above, we closed above both the EMAs with a bullish candle. We retested the EMAs and then we continued to the upside. So those are the two options, basically either a pullback to sell or a break above, retests to buy. Same thing on NASDAQ and US 30. Weekly time frame had a very strong sell. Now at this point here, the S&P 500 did break these lows. Actually, no, we never swept this low right here. So this low is still intact more or less. So yeah, that could be the next draw for where price might lead to. It seems like we're in that type of a situation where we did push low, then we have this pullback. We still need to break below this low before then turning around. So I think come Monday, we might actually shoot lower and then actually start to climb back up. If not, then we're just going to continue lower, creating new lower lows. Same thing here. We kind of have these weekly lows right here that price hasn't swept yet. We did sweep this weekly low right here, however. So at that point, we might actually have this next week have a pullback, and then the following week, we might actually target those lows though. Wow. Target those lows there. US 30 out of the 3 that we just saw had the biggest sells. There's really nothing in market price action that looks similar to what we're seeing right now. We kind of have this shift the structure to the downside. There's no pullback, there's just a continuation. I guess this right here might actually be a similar price action. So we have this a higher low, higher high, shift the structure, and instantly a low right here, and then price just turned around and pushed up. Now we are talking about not a pair, but we are talking about I guess it is a pair, it's US 30 USD, that is pushing, like, not pushing, it is very, very strong. I mean, notoriously known for creating highs every year. So if we look at the monthly time frame did close with a strong rejection candle here last month. Let's see. Doji selling candle. I mean, realistically, we might close with a very, very strong because this doji right here looks like this doji right here. And if that's the case, then we close with a very strong bearish move, and then we continue to the downside. So realistically, I do think selling is the better option here. Weekly time frame has created a low, so weekly time frame is bearish. Weekly time frame here is still bullish, but we kind of created this double or triple top. Next week we sell. I think this next week we sell on some of these here. Let's see, monthly time frame. Yeah, on this one there is no rejection candle like the one we've seen in recent history or this week. So let's see. We are hitting this 9 EMA. This 9 EMA may push price back higher, because what I'm thinking is we have to have some kind of a pullback, right? We have a lower low, then we have to have a lower high, and then the next lower low. So if that's the case, then we should expect a pullback of some kind at some point. However, on NASDAQ, that doesn't seem to be the case. Here this is the pullback. This is the next leg to the downside. So I guess we'll see what happens. Overall, I am very bearish on U.S. Indexes or futures, whatever you want to call it. That is my opinion on them. Gold. Gold is on the monthly time frame, has created a leg to the downside. Silver, same thing, push to the downside, kind of similar to last month where we had this huge sweep to the downside and we closed with a bullish month. I do think we're actually going to turn this candle around, flip it, and close with a bullish month as well, potentially even pushing all-time highs. Now, the tensions in the world are very, very high, creating creating uncertainty. So with a lot of uncertainty comes a lot of fear, and with fear comes poor financial decisions, or rather maybe smart financial decisions depending on how you look at it. People are going to take their money out of NASDAQ, they're going to take their money out of US 30, out of the US dollar, right? They're going to take their money out of the S&P 500, and they're going to invest it into silver and gold instead. Now we can see that already happening. We have a daily bullish engulfing candle on gold. We have a daily bullish engulfing candle on silver. So my expectation is we open this week, we literally just shoot straight up. I'm going to be buying silver, going to be buying gold, probably going to be shorting NASDAQ at some point this week. So that's what I have my eyes on for this week. Dollar index has reached an area of interest where price has sold from a lot before. I think the dollar is going to continue getting weaker, to be honest. Now we do have our foot in a couple of oil reserves right now, in Venezuela, probably in Iran. A lot is happening with the US dollar and with oil, but that stuff isn't exactly not exactly clean money, you know. It's not exactly like a business deal. It's more of like, I'm here, give me your stuff. So in my opinion, people are still very, very unsure of the US dollar, so we'll probably just continue to shoot downwards as time goes on. Now, last month so two things. One thing is there's no monthly wick on this candle right here, right? So there's no monthly wick on now there isn't one here either, so it seems like that doesn't really matter too much. Two things I'm seeing. One, there's no monthly wick. Second thing is this is a rejection candle on the monthly time frame, and with that usually comes a push to the upside. So we're getting that push to the upside. This is a bullish engulfing candle, so technically price could continue pushing higher. So if we're going to be looking for sells, I'm going to be looking for two things. One, either a bearish engulfing candle to the downside, or two, a doji candle right in this area rejecting the EMA, and then the following week we would be able to see that continuation happen. Now let's take a look at forex pairs, something I haven't looked at in a week. Haven't really been doing too much trading on forex, but the skill set is there, so let's use it. Starting with JPY pairs. So JPY pairs on the monthly time frame. Still very bullish. Here we had a pullback, doji, bearish engulfing doji, which could mean some selling. Doji, so there seems to be some slowing down. Here we're pushing all-time highs. 2 dojis here, and yeah, so we have a little bit of different price action on some of these JPY pairs. Weekly time frame, so I guess we're technically bullish across the board, right? So monthly time frame bullish. Here we are bullish from right there. Yep. Bullish here. Here we are bullish as well. Bullish, and bullish as well. So yeah, we're bullish across the board on the monthly time frame, weekly time frame. Here, bullish. Here we are bearish at the moment, so we have a lower low. We shifted underneath. Now we are above that area of interest. So still bearish on the weekly, but I do expect price to recover that there. Here we have shifted. We are bullish right there. Bullish on the weekly, higher high. Here we are also bullish. This doesn't even count as a shifted structure. And then here we are also bullish. So bullish across the board on JPY pairs on the weekly and on the monthly time frames. Now, this one is bearish right here, right? So we're bearish on this one, but I like the position we're in. So Euro JPY, I will actually be looking to buy. If we look at the daily time frame, it looks very, very clean. So we are bearish, but you can see that we're starting to create higher lows. So we have a higher low here, higher low here. That means the next one's going to be a higher high. Understanding that we are still bearish on the daily time frame, but overall, I do believe that we are starting to make this leg to the upside. So price action looks very, very similar to, let's see, this right here, this right here, this right here, and this right here. So all of these look very, very similar. And what you notice after each one of these consolidations, price just pushes higher. So we push higher, and we are already starting to shift above the EMA here. So on Euro JPY, I will be looking for a pullback of some sort, retesting this head and shoulders, this double, triple bottom, whatever you want to call it, to take a buy to the upside. Daily time frame is already having a reaction from this area of interest. So that's that. Other than that, these JPY pairs, I mean, I guess GJ could also be pushing this high this next week. We're at the high. Here, NZD JPY is having a pullback. We retested previous structure. 4-hour time frame is also doing something like this. I like it. I like the way that we did this. So if you notice, I like patterns, right? So this pattern right here, so we have price pushing up, and all of a sudden we drop, right? We drop, create a double bottom, and then we push up. What already happened? So we're pushing up, and then we drop. Create a double bottom, sweep. A lot of these, so people throughout this whole area are buying. They're buying, and then bam, they get stopped out, and then price just takes off to the upside. So I do expect NZD JPY to buy as well at this point. You could look to take a buy after a break and retest of this area here. Not much of an area of interest. You do have, let's see. There's not an area of interest. I'm just making stuff up. You have a 4-hour area of interest. If that's what you want to trade, then this is your 4-hour area of interest. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, as soon as price breaks above this area of interest, you can take a buy. The question is, where are you going to put your stop loss? And I don't exactly have a good answer for you. I would look for some kind of a pullback on the 1-hour time frame. Let's say we have this push up above this area of interest, or in this area of interest, we pull back, and then we have this bullish engulfing. Let's say you decide to enter, obviously hindsight, but you enter off of this bullish engulfing, you stop loss below this, and you can catch a easy 1 to 2, 1 to 3, depending on what you target. Same thing here. You copy, paste that, move it over here. So you have a bullish engulfing right here, stop loss underneath the wick, and then you target a 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Daily time frame, yeah. If we have a bullish, I'd say probably Monday, Tuesday is when you could take this trade, depending on how price closes. But you would just target, you could even target these highs right here. Realistically, the daily high right there. Get a nice risk to reward ratio on that trade. This one, same thing. You kind of just take a buy right here, stop loss as tight as you can make it, target weekly high. Let's see. Yeah, target weekly high, and that's a 1 to 2.5. So pretty simple trade overall. Nothing. I just don't like the way we're kind of trading sideways on a lot of these pairs. But regardless of it being sideways, we're still making those higher highs. And that's really all that matters. All right, JPY pairs are done. Let's move on to CHF pairs. CHF, Doji on the monthly, pullback on the monthly, starting to create lows, continuation to the downside, so not Euro CHF. AUD CHF, okay, this is a good one. This is very, very nice. AUD CHF most likely going to be the number one of the CHF pairs. CAD CHF, also not in a bad place. Yeah, so AUD CHF definitely looks the best. And NZD CHF. Okay, so I'm just going to throw these up here and you'll see why in a second. So AUD CHF monthly time frame has had a whole pullback to the upside. Weekly time frame starting to show signs of weakness, right? So we have this doji, we swept the highs. Daily time frame already shifting bearish. Actually has already shifted bearish. And I could tell that just from looking at the monthly time frame, right? Daily time frame shifted bearish. What about here? Same thing. So we have monthly had this pullback into the EMA, right? So we remove this, we delete this. So we pulled back into the EMA and we had this rejection candle. Next month opened, started to push down. So we pushed up, we swept some liquidity. I don't know why I'm saying that so much. I guess it's because I started trading futures. But we started to, so we showed signs of selling. We pulled back. 4-hour time frame had the pullback. Now we're underneath our area of interest. At this point, one of two things can happen. We either have a pullback on the weekly time frame and then we sell, which could happen. Or yeah, so I just want to see a weekly wick to the upside, however large that might be, and then a continuation to the downside after that. I do like AUD CHF much more than NZD CHF, simply because market structure is so much cleaner. 4-hour time frame, creating a head and shoulders. You can kind of frame that out however you'd like. I'm going to do it like this. So you have your wicks, you have your bodies, you have your structure points right there, there, and there. You have your EMAs, we're under the EMA. So realistically, just a pullback to sell. That's all that is. A weekly pullback, daily pullback, probably a weekly wick to the upside, and then a daily continuation. So a 4-hour pullback and then a continuation. So all you're looking for is the 4-hour pullback. You need 2-3 candles here, a bearish engulfing candle, and you're in. You literally, let's do this. Let's kind of, there's one candle, there's 2 candles, 3, we'll make this a big one, and then all of a sudden you get a bearish engulfing candle like this. You enter off of that bad boy, no questions asked. Bam, you don't even have to look at the lower time frames. Stop loss above, and you're targeting, I mean, dude, you can hold this trade for weeks. You're targeting, you could target daily lows like right here. You could target this structure point. You could target, let's see, is there an area of interest here? Yeah, so there's going to be a big area of support resistance like inside of this area right here. I would just target the top of this area of interest. I mean, you get a 1 to 2.5 right there. That's an easy trade. And then you can just trail your stop loss at a certain point. So we already have 4 pairs, pretty good so far. Let's run through the rest of these. Not trading this. This is a loss on our end. We missed this one out, completely missed this one. We took this loss right here. Should have been a great trade. And consolidated. I missed the re-entry. We could have entered fairly easily. Off of. Also, my stop loss should have been above this high, okay? I simply misplaced it. I was trying to get a good risk to reward out of this. Realistically, with the one that we have here, this is already a 1 to 15. So that's why I was doing what I was doing. But you could have easily entered 4-hour time frame. So you have your 4-hour pullback, price went bullish. You have your, technically, this is your structure point right there. 1-hour time frame. If we're being realistic, right? If we're just not trying to play any games or anything, you probably enter off of this candle right here since you broke the low, and then your stop loss is above this area of interest. Huge stop loss. I hate it. So yeah, we missed out this trade. I would have been a little bit more aggressive on it. I'm just talking about what you guys might have done. I probably would have tried to enter under this area of interest. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have entered after this bearish engulfing right here. Let's see what time that is. 12 o'clock at night. So you have this huge sell right here, stop loss right there. Oops, wrong way. Something like this, okay? And then I don't know what I would have targeted. Probably, I think I probably would have targeted, well, that would have been insane. Weekly level right here. So that's what I would have targeted right there. That was my, I think my original take profit was this area right there. So a 1 to 5 is what we would have gotten within a matter of hours. But yeah, I'm not trading this. We kind of wasted our time on that. AUD USD. It could be a monthly wick. Still bullish on this time frame, 4-hour time frame. Not a huge fan of this either. We did retest the 9 EMA. Not a huge fan. Monthly time frame here. Okay, so the monthly time frame here has no top wick, so we're definitely going to target that wick. At the top, we opened, we pushed down, swept this low, so we're probably just going to turn around and push higher. Daily time frame is bearish, but we have this point that price is probably going to push higher. Not interested at this point in time. Yeah, same thing here. There's no top wick. Doesn't have to be necessarily. Not interested. Yeah, definitely not. Probably not. Okay, so here we shifted bearish on the monthly, weekly time frame. Has a bullish engulfing 4-hour time frame, or daily time frame is starting to have a shift to the upside. Almost having a shift to the upside. 4-hour time frame is above the EMA. This could be kind of a counter trend trade. Just looking to start taking buys to the upside. We've already shifted above the EMA. Price really loves this EMA here on this pair. We stayed below. Now we're above. We'll probably continue to buy. That one is up to you and your discretion. I'm probably not going to touch it. Okay, here's a good one. Monthly time frame is bullish. We're probably about to shift. Weekly time frame has broken underneath this EMA, shifted, swept these highs, and had a bearish push to the downside. At this point, we kind of need to see a pullback to sell, a weekly wick to the upside, and then a continuation to the downside is probably our best bet. So we could keep an eye on this one. Weekly wick to the top side, bearish push to the downside. That would mean that the US dollar is getting weaker, which is something that we are anticipating. So, yeah. Price doesn't really do that much very often, does it? Pull back into the EMA. So yeah, at the very minimum, a pull back into the EMA to sell, or into the area of interest. 4 hour EMA. Retest these structure points. Like, I would like to see at the very minimum price come back and retest that. If not, then we continue pressing higher, retest these bodies, and then we sell. So USD CAD, going to be looking for sells on that. We just went over this. Let's try to zoom through these last couple here. Not interested. I do like the way that we rejected that EMA, but not interested. Okay, so this is an interesting one. I also don't love it. Weekly broke these lows. Daily created a, well, weekly created a head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. We just need a weekly pullback, basically. So I'm not interested until we get that weekly pullback. Huge sell. Not interested. Just been trending downwards, not interested. Yeah, I think that's basically it. So we have our 5 pairs right here. Euro JPY looking to take buys off of this area of interest. Basically a 4-hour break and retest or pullback to retest. I kind of want to see price push higher and then have a small pullback. NZD JPY break and retest to the upside. This one, we want to see a 4-hour pullback and then a sell. So 4-hour pullback to sell. This is probably going to be my number one. I can't lie. Let's see. Weekly. Yeah. Monthly. 100%. Okay. So yeah. Number one is here. I just, not because it's going to happen the fastest, but because I like it the most. These two will probably happen faster. This one, same thing. We need a 4-hour pullback. Why is that so far? We need a 4-hour pullback to sell. Might be a small one, might be big. It depends. And then USD CAD, same thing. Pullback to sell. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I just took a shower, so my hair's all over the place. I hope you guys have a good week trading. Gonna be a little bit busier moving forward. You guys know that I've been busy. Just got a lot of stuff going on right now. But moving into the next couple of weeks, going to be busy. But then I think closer to the second half of the year, I plan to do like a lot more full-time content, a lot more live streaming. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of live streaming. Just a lot of plans, but very little time to accomplish those. So if you guys made it to this part of the video, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome, and I wish you the best.